We're here at Holy Trinity Church in the Acre neighborhood. Holy Trinity Church was completed in 1905 and reflects a new wave of immigrants coming into Lowell, and that is the Greeks coming into Lowell, many of whom worked in the textile mills. Many of the first Greeks who settled in Lowell were men. They brought families later, some years later. Lowell became one of the largest Greek communities in the United States. And I think what's interesting about the Greek community in Lowell is that it really reflects the changing demographics and ethnicity of the city of Lowell, and specifically the Acre. And Dave, you know a little bit about the advent of the Greek community in the Acre.
Well, the Irish settled here, of course, as we've been saying. It became a very thick cluster community. When the Greeks moved in, because the housing was low cost, they too started moving into this area. As they moved in, the Irish were moving up the social ladder, were moving to the farther parts of the Acre and also to the highlands. And that's how that Greek community grew and grew and grew. And pretty soon, by the 1900s, this was called the Greek Triangle. However, things didn't stop there, of course, because what you see around you is an early federal housing project. The Irish and the Greeks that were here were forced to move out by the government as they were building this housing. And when it came back, when it was built and they were invited to come back, more Irish were invited back than Greeks. Even though this was a very strong Greek community, it had reinvented itself.
In addition to those tensions between, let's say, the Greek and Irish community and the political ramifications of that, the other dynamic that was occurring shortly before this housing complex was built in the 1940s was renewed movement to restrict immigration. And there were a number of federal acts that were passed, the first really going back to the 1882 with the Chinese Exclusion Act. But this anti-immigrant movement in Lowell did not stop there. In fact, there was a renewal of anti-Irish Catholic immigration in the 1890s, but more so, and perhaps more importantly, there was a national movement to restrict immigrants from all places, mostly aimed at Asians and Southern Europeans. And so in 1924, you have a major bill passed, that the Johnson bill, that restricted immigration significantly in the United States. And it's interesting to look at the communities in Lowell that tried to rise up and block that federal legislation, which included many prominent members of the Greek community and as well as the Irish. So there was some coming together among some of the immigrant communities in Lowell to stop this legislation, but those actions failed. And you had, again, the result of this immigration bill, which greatly cut off people coming into the United States from all parts of the world.